So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, probably to somebody. We are just starting off now our third lighting session in the Decoupled Menu Initiative. I'm Buddy, working in the initiative together with others, all of you that are here. And today we actually want to hear from Kuldev and Ishan talking about their EzContent distribution at Srijan. So you are going to have at least 30 minutes, and then we're going to do Q&A, and we're looking forward. So here you go. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks, Betty. I'm going to share my screen, Sean.
Yeah, please go ahead, Kuldev.
Is my screen visible?
It's
Yes.
loading up for me. Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thanks, Kuldev. So I'll kick it off with I'll just take 5 minutes. Kuldev will bring up the agenda. I'll just take the first point here, EzContent introduction. I'll take 5 minutes to talk about why we built EzContent, a bit of a background, and then Kuldev will start with the demo and the 3 remaining points, right? So EzContent is a distribution. It's completely open source, available on Drupal.org. There are two projects mainly. One is EzContent, and then there's another sub project called EzContent_API. And 4 big. I know I'm sure all of us here are familiar with Drupal distribution, so I wouldn't go into too much details on the different functionalities, right? I'll sort of focus in on a couple. One is the decoupled focus, which we'll be talking about today, right? Part of it is the menus. So that's one focus of our distribution, and the other is AI-powered content generation, where we've done some integrations around content authoring experience. Kuldev, if you can go to the next slide. But from today's perspective, right? I think what we're focusing on today, and I think what's relevant is one of the reasons why we built EzContent was we want to make Drupal the best headless CMS. That marketers also love, right? So we talk a lot about developer experience, right, in the Jamstack and headless space, but we want to also talk about marketers, right? And that's one of the reasons why we are building EzContent. Next slide, Kuldev, please. So the basis of our thinking was when we started, this is taken from Preston's blog. Preston wrote a series of blogs around the current state of CMSs and how he sees the CMS world changing. And this diagram from that series is really pertinent to our approach here as well, right? So we feel that a lot of the pure headless CMSs, pure decoupled CMSs, API only CMSs look at content as data and look at CMS's role and people who use the CMS, their role as mostly entering content. But from our experience, we've seen there are a lot of other roles. If you look at a Drupal implementation, people have different responsibilities around analytics, SEO. There are legal requirements, there are editorial workflows. So there's a lot more than just adding content that people do with Drupal, right? And so, could the next slide, please? So I'm just an example, right? I mean, this is from McKinsey.com. You can see they have hundreds of these pages, right? I mean, these are real use cases, right? We cannot ignore these use cases. You can see it's a simple hero component here, but you'll see 50 odd variations on their site. The text could be white, the text could be black, the position of the text needs to change because, depending on where the image background is and the image focus is, right? It's a very common use case from the CMS world, but something like this, you completely lose when you go completely headless. So these are the kind of problems we're trying to address. And Dries mentioned about this trade-off as well, right? Between the developer experience in his last keynote, right? Between the developer experience and the marketer's needs. So there's a trade-off that we're always discussing. And our approach is, we want to look at the marketer experience as well. So if you go to the next slide, Kuldev. And just click next. So what we are trying to do is we're trying to bridge the gap between these personas and developers as well with EzContent. And the last slide that I have after this, Kuldev, if you can bring in, sort of summarizes all the features that we have, right, available as part of the EzContent distribution. So you can use the Drupal's layout builder, right? So everything that you can do with the layout builder, you can do that even with a Gatsby front end or an Angular front end or a Vue.js front end, right? We have starter kits for all of these three. So we have starter kits for Gatsby, Next.js, Angular, and Vue published on GitHub. So you can set up the distribution, use those starter kits, and you start using Drupal's layout builder with those front ends. You can preview unpublished content. You have all the SEO features such as configuring meta tags, schema.org, redirects, URL alias. You can do all of that. Update menus, of course, right? We'll talk about that today. Kuldev will show that. User authentication and different things, right? So even the example that I showed you about the hero banner, right? So you can change the text alignment, change the positioning, all of that with the distribution. And that's just a quick summary and background, why we built this and what we are trying to maintain with this distribution. And then, coming to today's agenda, I let Kuldev take over now, talk about menus specifically and give a demo as well. Over to you, Kuldev.
He probably has to unmute.
Yeah, Kuldev, you're on mute.
So sorry for that.
Kuldev, you're on mute if you are able to hear us.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so generally what we see, when people start thinking about Drupal decoupled, so they just think about the content only, right? So they just, build Drupal as a content repository and then consume the content API only. And then, render on either Angular, React, or Vue.js, whatever framework they, like as a front end. But I mean, they don't think how, as an editor, how they can, reorder menu, make modification on the menu. Decoupled people, front end people generally hard code all those header footer menu, right? But there is a power in Drupal as well where you can, add menus and can, reorder and can build a nested level menu, modify them, put highlighted content on the top level menu, right? So we thought like, let's also integrate the Drupal menu with decoupled frameworks, whether it's Vue.js, whether it's Next or React or Gatsby. So we thought let's use the whatever come with the Drupal as out of the box. So we choose the JSON API as our API endpoint. And then using that API endpoint, we build the React component, although we have component for Angular and Vue.js as well. But initially we started with Next.js, and then in Next.js we build a React component for that, where we render the menus along with any action made by the editor on the Drupal side on menus. It automatically render that way. If menu is disabled, front end will hide that menu. If menu renamed or URL changed, then front end render that way. We also achieve the nested level menu, where you can as an editor you can have two level of menu as a nested item, and then front end can show the drop down underneath that, right? So these were our thought initially when we started decoupled rendering content. So we integrate the menus as well. The technology stack which we had, obviously Drupal along with JSON API, right? And then we have Node.js, which is also Next.js is also based on the Node.js. And then for front end templating, we have React. Redis, basically we build Redis as a middleware to cache the data so that React can get the data immediately rather than going to database and then rendering and initializing Drupal. To achieve the ordering in the Drupal, we have to made a custom rule event, so that if editor reorder the menus, and there should be some hooks which can purge the Redis cache. So we built a new rules based event which we are using to purge the cache on Redis whenever menus modify from the editor side, right? This is an overview of the entire EzContent demo site setup. So we have Drupal here we have Node.js as a middleware, which actually parse the cache, build the cache, and rebuild the cache. And then the middleware, being used by the different decoupled front end. We have Flutter application, we have Angular, React, and Vue.js as well. So in demo, basically, we will, I will show you adding a menu and then how it, immediately appear on the front end. Reordering the menus from the menu dashboard. If you enable and disable the menu, that will also, immediately impact on the front end. And then we will have a nested level menu, right? So let's move to the development side or the demo side. I'm already on the overview of the menu page, and so this is our demo side, right? This is Drupal, this is a React or Next.js based front end, and all these are coming from the Drupal itself. Right. So the top menu is rendered from the main navigation here. Yeah. So if I add a menu, so let's say I add a demo menu here. And save this. So right now, adding a menu will not parse the Redis cache. We have to save it from here. So I'm clicking on that, and if I refresh, so this is all generated from the Next.js server-side rendering. So the demo menu is from appearing here. And if I reorder the menu from navigation dashboard here, so let's say I want to show the demo menu before the test link here. Save it, refresh it. Oh, I think I refresh early. Oh, some weird thing happened, but let's try disabling the menu here. Let's see if that works. So if I disable the home menu, it should disable the first menu item from the decoupled front end. Yeah, it removed the item from here. Let's also check the sub navigation if we can have the nested navigation. So I put the sample article under components and save it. So we have a drop down menu here as well. Yeah. So all these actions, which as the editor I can perform from this dashboard, adding menu and enabling and disabling, all those will be reflected in the front end via JSON API as a API endpoint for the decoupled item here. Yeah, that's it from the the demo side on the menu part. Any questions?
Yeah, I can start off. Are you dealing with multilingual menus? Or is that a use case that you have at the moment?
We are experimenting with that, Vaidi. We just recently, enabled the multilingual. It's working. I mean, it's working with the content, but we haven't tested with the menus. But yeah,
Cool,
we
thank
are
you.
using decoupled router module as well, which can resolve the actual content. So that should work. That would there wouldn't be any issue.
You said you have a Node.js, I guess, middleware or something. What's that for? What's it doing?
Yes, so this middleware is mainly for the our EzContent demo site, which is actually getting the transforming the JSON API into a single API data, along with purging and building the cache for the decoupled front end.
I see. So the decoupled front ends like Angular or something. They're
Correct.
using the middleware in order to get like
Correct.
an aggregated response or something.
Correct. So Gatsby is using directly JSON API, but we have switched between whether we want to use middleware or direct JSON API. We can do that.
And Kuldev, correct me if I'm wrong. I think the middleware is essentially we added that for like the layout builder functionality that we have, right? I think that's Kuldev mentioned. We wanted to avoid a lot of calls to Drupal to see what's there on the page, right? If a page has been set up using the layout builder, so I think the middleware is helping us cache all of that, and also that's where all the logic sits, right? To make as many calls as we need to Drupal to get information around the layout. But the front end should get minimum API calls, right? They should not have to worry about Drupal specific logic. So
yeah,
that's the major feature for which we've added the Node.js middleware.
Thanks.
So do we have any more questions for Kuldev and Ishan?
Yeah, I got something. So you sort of touched on it already when you were talking about the middleware, but I noticed that you're using Redis for caching. Is that a required part of your setup there, or is it completely optional? It's just there for performance.
it's completely optional. It's for performance only. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And you said that you have like starter kits, for those who want to try it out. How are you dealing with apart from starter kit? What else do you have for documentation of documenting? For those who want to use it, or do you have any? Can you maybe place some links here in the chat, or have you already maybe?
Sure, I can share that. So the repository already have its own documentation as a README file, so everything is there. I can share that repository, the distribution link.
Yeah, because one of the main things also what we're trying to figure out is what people want to how people want to have documentation. So it would be really helpful if you can share some, what do you say, experiences with those who have been using your distribution. What are they requesting the people, or what do they feel like it is helpful? So that will help the initiative a lot. If you could share that with us.
Sure.
Any other question from the team? Or those who are here in the call? So I think this was extremely helpful, and of course, if we recommend, of course, to submit. I think submissions are open for DrupalCon North America. I don't know if you're if your team is submitting sessions, but this is a little reminder for everybody here in the call. I think we have until the 14th of February to submit talks. Apart from that, we are going to be putting out soon like the information about our survey. We had like already 116 responses. And we have a lot of cool things that we've seen, like how people are using Drupal in a decoupled way. So if you haven't answered the survey yet, please go and check out our link on our Slack channel. But otherwise, if there's anything that you want to help with, or if you have any good ideas, then let us know. And thank you, Kuldev and Ishan and Srijan, for presenting this today.
Thank you, Eddie. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, and we're really looking forward. So please help us out also if you have any good ideas. We have the issue queue, and join us on the Slack. I think Ishan, you're there. Kuldev, if you're on Drupal Slack, also join us there, and everyone else, of course. Okay, then I will say goodbye for now and have a good afternoon or morning or night.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah.